The livest one, like I'm from Bedford-Stuyvesant, one of the realest. We're finna have straight from Phillips. Greatly appreciate all the support, all the people supporting Photography Plug. I think South Africa was a good 10% of a lot of the people that tuned in the last week or so. I greatly appreciate the support and the platform of YouTube. And we were going to talk about Donald Trump's friend that unfortunately had been assassinated, my friends. We're a platform that cares about people. But anything they say about us, don't believe it. It's not true. Hear it from us, the mouth, the mule. Breaking news, obviously. I greatly appreciate all the support. But breaking news, obviously breaking news on this Wednesday afternoon. Remember, this is about capitalism. You can always go to $ at Photography Plug to support. Greatly appreciate all the support. We're getting close to 160,000 subscribers, close to 100 million viewers. Even if it's one viewer or more, it gets a little bit closer to 100 million. That is correct, my friends. I greatly appreciate all the support from all the supporters around the world of Photography Plug. I greatly appreciate it, guys. Back to the marquee today, and actually the subject of the matter today. Obviously, the subject of the matter today is Cardi B. And Cardi B's beef heats up with audio leaked. Her talking spicy about Ice Spice. Cardi B in that frenzy in 2025. This is older audio that was taken during some deal by saying that Cardi B said she a Mayweather. You know what I mean by Mayweather? This particular individual, and she's not Nicki Minaj or Latto. By saying she's that, you know what? So Cardi B, my friends, going platinum this week with that, obviously, a very important musical album, I Am Drama, has already went platinum. Probably go diamond. I heard them playing it all over the hood, all of the projects over there by where I stayed. And it is a very good album, to say the least. I can see the kids getting ready to play. That's right, to that Cardi B. They look up to Cardi B. I remember Cardi B first started Bodak Yellow. We was on stage with her. That is correct. On stage right there at the strip club. It's nothing for a man to brag about. He was on stage with Cardi B. But when Bodak Black came out, my friends, yes, we supported Cardi, and she went diamond off of that album. Platinum for sure. Diamond or platinum off of that album. So Cardi B shows to prove that, yeah, she's a Tupac Shakur. We're probably selling more records by this point, my friends. She had a longer career, unfortunately. Tupac was shot in Vegas. But Cardi B calling out Latto, Nicki, and it was Latto, Nicki, and another famous Latto, Nicki, and somebody else. And she called them all out, sounding like a Tupac Shakur on Outlaws. I knew when she was going to become a bigger star than Biggie. I thought about it. I said, the younger generation, especially the little girls in the South Bronx, love Cardi B. And obviously need somebody to look up to. With Cardi B there, needing somebody to look up to in the South Bronx is where she came from. Just imagine coming from the South Bronx. If you walk through the Bronx, it's going to be pretty hard for you to have a cordial conversation with anybody. I promise you, you can have some good conversations, but how long will the conversations last? I'm not saying they're not classy people, but I'm saying it's a tough neighborhood. And I always love to talk about that when you come from a tough neighborhood. We always remember Al Capone, because Al Capone started press. If it wasn't for Al Capone, we wouldn't have press in America. By meaning, when Al Capone said, I come from a rough neighborhood, you can get farther with a kind word and a gun than you can just with a kind word. And I'm sure Cardi B comes from a rough neighborhood. She's a tough girl. Her and her beautiful sister, Hennessy Carolina, I met both of them a few times, obviously, on those rails, obviously, that you're seeing on Photography Club. Shouts out to you. What's up to you? Let me know exactly what country you're calling from. Your country you're in. Let me know that I'm not a perfect person sometimes, guys. This is a very tough thing to do, to stay consistently live, my friends. Stay consistently live. We greatly appreciate all the support. All the support that's been pouring in all over the world. Subject today is Cardi B. That is correct. Cardi B. Cardi B. That very important subject of Cardi B album going diamond. That audio leaked of her calling out Nicki, sounding like she's Tupac Shakur. And the West Coast and East Coast beef is back on again. You better believe that Nicki Minaj is preparing her onslaught on Cardi. Nicki not going to take anybody talking about her in that way. Nicki's from Queens also. So imagine the South Bronx against Queens. It's going to be a tough battle at your local nail shop, possibly. And it's going to be a lot of, let's say, toenails in your Chinese food. So be careful when you're at your local Chinese food store shop. And if you do happen to find a toenail or fingernail in your Chinese food, my friends, you should get a $10 bonus and an extra meal. That's how important Chinese food is in the neighborhood. We love Chinese food, especially sesame chicken, my friends. I love it to death. But if you get that toenail in it, you know it's probably Nicki and Cardi fighting over hibachi steak at your local Chinese bar mitzvah, possibly. So you think about the things of Cardi B and how successful she is with the platinum album. And she's going to give it back to many of kids. And she's shown, this proves that she's a platinum selling artist. And even Cardi B is too young for run for president of the United States of America. But I truly believe that she can possibly run for president of the United States of America. I know it's hard to believe, but I will see Cardi there in the White House with Stefan Diggs, retired. I'm sure he'll be soon retired. And obviously Stefan Diggs probably has a woman after woman after woman. The woman wants a rich man, but can she deal with all the women that he has? You got to understand, it's another woman on every block, and they're very beautiful. So you think about Stefan Diggs. When you think about Stefan Diggs and Cardi B, you have no reason but to be articulate and smart enough to know that Stefan Diggs obviously probably has a few more women that he's saying he has. How many women will be quiet for a few $1,000s, better yet 50 or 40,000? I think Stefan Diggs is worth a pretty penny, but most NFL players do go broke. I don't see him doing anything much different. Obviously meeting Cardi B will help him sustain his fame. It's an old story by saying, yes, the NFL players, when they come to the club, you have to mention their first and last name by saying that, yes, when you mention their first and last name is the only way they can be identified. You can't say Stefan's coming to the club. You can't say Diggs. You might be thinking Jay Diggs is coming to the club. But one thing that you can say is, yes, Stefan Diggs is coming to the club. But you can say Cardi's coming because everybody knows her. Nobody really knows Stefan Diggs if it wasn't for Cardi B. And obviously the NFL has slumped numbers since Colin Kaepernick. And obviously the police force have been losing officers, considering their Masons died, George Floyd. Somebody said Cardi B in the White House, please. But just imagine how many kids that are 7 now in 10 years, they'll be 18, ready to vote. 9, 10, 11 years, they'll be ready to vote for Cardi. Yes, this is an entertainment country. Donald Trump was a reality celebrity star. Donald Trump was not a real tycoon other than entertainment. Now, other than entertainment, Donald Trump was, yes, true indeed. But he was talking about, and he's still freeing Kodak Black. This is about entertainment and votes. I think Cardi B will probably make a fine president of the United States of America because it's a popularity test. It's a popularity contest. And it is a contest, my friends. America is a contest. So welcome to the Photography Plug. Somebody just commented that Ronald Reagan was an actor. Yes, Ronald Reagan was a very short-lived actor, then became president of the United States of America. Obviously, don't say no to drugs was a campaign used against the black and brown neighborhood. Obviously, federal bureau investigations obviously was one of the factions that obviously infiltrated the black and brown neighborhood. This is well documented. I'm not making any of this up, guys. But back to the subject at hand, Cardi B, possibly president of the United States of America. You could see it. I could see it. That she could get a lot of votes. The music runs the world, my friends. The music runs the world. So remember that. Greatly appreciate your support. Hello, my friends. Hello. I see your ring. I see your support. Greatly appreciate your support. We'll stay live just a little bit longer, then I head on, guys. I'm not going to stay live too much longer. We're just getting the numbers up a little bit. We're going to push a little bit forward, guys. This is American country, and this is American society, and this is the civilization that we're living in 2020, close to 30, my friends. This is the future. This is the future, my friends. This is technology that you're tuning into. The old technology is long gone. Cardi B there, standing there, talking like Mayweather, saying that Sugar Shane Mosley is not much of a battle, saying that, yes, Oscar De La Hoya is too old and you know what, too much stuff up his nose, and saying that, yes, Gervonta Davis is going to fight Jake Paul. But apparently Cardi B has a list of people that she's going to put to sleep. And one of those people are saying that Latto is not even a match. Saying, I'm not Latto. I'm not Nicki Minaj. I'm not none of those lames. I'm the best rapper that ever existed. I'm Cardi B, the best rapper that ever put her lips to a microphone. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, hell, my friend is, and I do agree that I will say that on her last album, she took some of our music and blasted. We'll see about that. One of my partners, Kobe Jordan, a time. And Cardi B did take that. And she most definitely took that a time. So she's not authentic, but at the same time, we put that record out there. A lot of people heard it. Her sister knows us very well. Cardi B knows us too. Obviously, we're the Photography Plug. We're not an invisible entity. So you can just imagine the turmoil in the industry that is happening at this moment. And Cardi B is trying to readjust, not knowing that this audio was going to be leaked from 2025. But now Ice Spice probably is going to prepare something for Cardi, ready to sell records, obviously, like Solange should have did so in the front of in that elevator. If I was in a relationship with Solange and that old Jay-Z video would came out, they wouldn't have seen me and Solange in a week, and a week later you would have heard I hit him up, Jay-Z. It would have been platinum. So the same thing with Ice Spice. Her team is telling her today that, yes, my friends, they are going to hit Cardi B with all sorts of diss songs. Now, obviously, this audio is very new, so this audio can be used for the next platinum selling record of Cardi B. You notice we didn't post the audio, but I think it's a way you can. Obviously, you can always do copyright infringement. We don't like to do that here at Photography Plug. I have to sleep at night. But Cardi B calling out Nicki Minaj, embarrassing Nicki, shows and proves to the world that Cardi B is in a place where she's never been before. That she's not just one of the biggest rappers in the world, that she is probably the epitome of one of the biggest selling rappers in world history. And some people say, well, her album is overrated. Look how the kids react when Cardi B's album is playing. Did you hear the production on Cardi B's album? Cardi B's album is the #1 album in the country right now today. Now, Cardi B is the #1 female artist in America today, not Nicki Minaj nor Latto. All eyes and all show business lights are on Cardi B. Cardi B shows and proves that she can run for president of the United States of America. Now, I know the right-wingers probably disagree, but Cardi would made a fine president of the United States of America. It's a popularity, and she is not a convicted felon, even though our great American president is convicted 34 different times. Cardi B is not even convicted of a felony. But you can see that Cardi B is the #1 female rapper in the world today. Now, I don't have to say this. We don't have many views here. We're getting close to 100 million, not like billions. They have billions of views right now as Cardi B stands to be a diamond, bigger than platinum artist, one of the biggest artists in world history, bigger than Mayweather, bigger than Tyson. Cardi B, if she unfortunately passed away, would draw a crowd of 250,000 people at the normal arena size. The biggest arena here holds 100,000 people. I figured out Cardi B was bigger than Biggie Smalls 10 years ago when she first started. In 10 years, Cardi B has proven to the world that she's the best artist that ever existed. She's the heavyweight champion of female artists. You can't compare Salt and Pepper. You can't compare Nicki. You can't compare Latto. You can't compare Janet Jackson. She even had a feature. Janet Jackson doesn't feature her. Janet is a feature on Cardi B's new album, I Am Drama. Cardi B sunned Janet and said, listen, you're going to be on this album because I'm Cardi B and you're Janet Jackson. Meaning one other person that Cardi B has to surpass in record sales will be only that person of Janet Jackson's brother, Michael Jackson, the biggest star in the world. Follow me as you listen to me talk. That places Cardi B right up under the nose of the President of the United States of America. That places Cardi B being the most popular person in possibly music history, other than obviously Michael Jackson. That puts Cardi B's name beside Michael Jordan. That puts Cardi B's name beside some of the biggest names that ever existed in world history. Cardi B tackles it all. She shows and proves, and Christmas is not even here. She hasn't even gave any Christmas toys out to the kids. Cardi B is already platinum, being one of the biggest celebrities in world history, and possibly not the next president of the United States of America, but after that, becoming the first female president of the United States of America. It's a possibility of Cardi B being that big, destroying Nicki's career, destroying Latto's career, and destroying the industry with her saturated music by saying she is one of the best lyrical rappers that ever existed. Cardi B is what she says she is. She proves what she says she is. She calls Nicki's out and might as well call Queensbridge out and say, come on, walk over here to the bridge, to the Bronx, and what you want to do about it. That's like Nas. That's like Nas. Just imagine Nas and the old school beef. And Nas did, shouts out to Nas, he started a casino. You got to understand, these are cities. You know, the inner city people in the Bronx did not want this casino. But Nas came back to, I think, Pusha T or some artist and said, I'm starting a casino. Irrelevant, Nas. Irrelevant, doesn't count. We're just talking about music, but we'd like to say congratulations to Nas. Somebody commented and said Cardi B is low class. You think about classes in this country. And when you think about, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. We love Hulk Hogan. But we're talking classes of people, classes of individuals. You think about classes of people and Donald Trump's class. Donald Trump is not a classy person. Donald Trump might come from money, but you cannot buy class. Donald Trump was never able to buy class because he was never able to act classy. Now, I'm one of the biggest Donald Trump fans, so don't think I'm saying anything wrong about him. We're just talking truth here. We're not saying Donald Trump looks like he was one of those uppity people. No, not at all. He looks like one of those poor trailer people, if you know what I mean. And a lot of rich people are that way. It doesn't mean a millionaire is in a Walmart right now. She's overweight, in the line. She's not attractive. And she's in Walmart right now. So don't think that millionaires all look so class. You cannot buy class. Cardi B has a lot more class than our president of the United States of America, to be honest. She looks a lot better. And this is a looking contest. Remember, this is a looking contest. You rather have a doctor that can perform the surgery, but in 2030, close to be 25, that's not the important part. The important part is not the doctor. The important part is the photos of the better doctor that made you choose the wrong physician. That physician that it was malpractice that caused more death in America. That's what caused more death in America than some of the biggest diseases is accidents that happen at the hospital. So remember, when you go into the doctor, I don't mean to switch the subject on you that quick, that malpractice is when a doctor makes a mistake. It happens every day. It happens all the time. Right now, somebody is dying from what the doctor did and not what God put on them. So remember that. But Cardi B going off on Nicki, showing Nicki where you at. Come to the Bronx. Come over to the South Bronx. And if you come to the South Bronx, you're going to have a problem. I believe Cardi. You seen Cardi going out of the courthouse and somebody said something to her. What's up, dog? That's my homeboy, Wade. Shouts out to him. That's my homeboy. What's up with you, dog, man? Just going live, man.
What up, what up, what up? It's the G-Borough man in the town, in the building, baby, my man, Malik PA. What's good with you?
Good seeing you, dog. Yeah, so you think about Cardi. You think about Cardi B, right? And you think about her. That's right. You think about Cardi B and you think about her career and you think about how powerful she is as a person. The kids love Cardi B. I hope you know that. That the kids, and shouts out to this guy. This guy is cooling. He just got off work. He's having a good time. It's Wednesday in that little red car. Shouts out to this dude. And obviously, he's playing that Cardi B's new record. So Cardi B's new record has showed and proved that she's a stand artist. She's one of the biggest artists that ever existed. It's no rebuttal in that. It's no going against what I said about Cardi B. And even her sister decided not to even drop an album. Obviously, showing the internet that she's probably one of the most beautiful women out there. Being that dynasty, Cardi B, Hennessy, Carolina, against Nicki Minaj and her boyfriend. I have to give it to Cardi B if I put my money on it, because I think Cardi B has a little bit more South Bronx than Nicki has Queensbridge. In other words, I don't think Nicki's in Queens like Cardi B's in South Bronx. In other words, I think the Bronx might give Nicki A little bit problem. She walked through the Bronx tonight after Cardi is talking a lot of tough music. And this music is going to be, it's going to be amplified. This music is going to be this audio that's been leaked is going to be amplified. It's going to be used. It's going to be I Hit 'Em Up, Tupac Shakur. It's going to be one of the biggest tracks that Cardi B has to drop. If Cardi B does not drop this diss track against Nicki, I'm personally not even a Cardi B fan anymore. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the audio is already out there. We don't want to hear Young Thug apologies. We don't want to see you performing at the county jail. Even though it was smart, Young Thug, because you're trying to get along with the local officials. But it was not smart for you to take that plea deal. We had everything on the table for you, Young Thug. We fought for you. We got everything we wanted. Even Cardi B's last lawsuit, even her last lawsuit was a not guilty. So just imagine. In other news, obviously, P. Diddy probably will be going to prison for 11 years. As prison sentence will probably be suspended. He'll probably be suspended here in about 1 or 2 years. Time served, he'll be out of prison. So remember, Cardi B being one of the biggest celebrities in world history. It's no rebuttal in that. It's no saying that Cardi B is not at the top of the game. It's no saying that she's not bigger than Mayweather. It's no saying that she's not on the nose of the tip of our great American president, Donald Trump. Not many people are disagreeing with Cardi B has to say about Latto, meaning that a boxing match can happen. One of the biggest female boxing matches can happen, and that could be Cardi B against Nicki Minaj. That would be one of the biggest boxing matches in world history. Mayweather's numbers couldn't touch it. It can be facilitated by Mayweather. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. If Nicki doesn't want to do it, she doesn't want to break her nails. She doesn't think Queensbridge or Nas or Mobb Deep or anybody from Queens, none of the drill rappers could possibly deal with the onslaught of the South Bronx coming over there. Probably if Nicki Minaj walked through the South Bronx today, if I was Nicki, I'd be revving up my cars and I'd be going to the South Bronx today to show Cardi. To show Cardi that yes, she is the best artist in world history. It's nothing else that we could possibly say. Obviously, if you just look at your charts, you look at Spotify, the numbers are going up of her album, her new album. This new audio leak had to be perfect. She's about to have another child. Congratulations to her 4th child. She just landed an NFL guy that she's trying to get on his feet. Obviously, the NFL numbers are down, and we're going to keep them down as long as we possibly can. And obviously, Stefan Diggs and anybody else, we do want to mention, shouts out to another beautiful couple. That is Karrueche and Deion Sanders. Elder Deion, close to be 62 years old. He'll be a senior citizen. 40-year-old Karrueche. She's not a chick anymore. She's not a young spring chicken. So shouts out to them in Colorado. Hopefully they'll win some games this year if Deion is actually concentrating on the game and not Karrueche, which he probably should be. I don't think there's anything else Deion Sanders could probably do other than keep Tommen. So I greatly appreciate everybody supporting Photography Plug. We've been live for a little bit. Jesus is King. He loves you, my friend, and never forget that. Yes, Jesus is King. He loves you. And I would say, because the Jesus people that's on here, I greatly appreciate you. If you didn't exist, we wouldn't exist. If one of the people that called us the you know what, we wouldn't even get hardly any comments. Most people go to the comments and say, you need Jesus. Well, if I've been to where Jesus was actually at. You go to where Jesus was actually at, and then you can understand what the real Jesus is. So this is not a conversation. That's why news networks never talk about Jesus. Just imagine if you're talking about Cardi B and you're talking about this new album, and then we all of a sudden start talking about Jesus. I mean, if that's what you want to do, we could do it, but it's not actually like on subject. You know, say for instance, you're talking about a new album coming out, or you're talking about music, and somebody say you need Jesus. Yeah, we all need Jesus, but that's not the only thing we need. Sometimes we need a woman too. So you ask Jesus, you say, Jesus, would give me the right woman that I really need. Bring me a woman that is healthy for me, that is strong, that is intelligent, Jesus. Bring me that, because I don't want Jesus physically. That would make me a homosexual. I want a woman, a beautiful woman. So that is that comment. So I greatly appreciate your comment. Your comment is very important. Photography plug. Never think we're Rock Nation. We're not Jay-Z and we're not Cardi. You call Cardi right now, she's not going to answer. Trust me, I know Cardi. Even if I call Cardi, she's not going to. Even if I get... Now, if the numbers go up so much, Cardi will show up. If the numbers go up so much, Cardi will show up and she will show love. She always does. And I greatly appreciate Cardi B being that great American citizen, bringing great music to America. We don't have a huge crowd here tonight. I knew we went because it's a little bit too early. Guys, I'm going to probably head on, but I greatly appreciate the support. Stick with me for a little while. By the time I get out of downtown, I'll probably go off the line. Obviously, I'll be going up through the college campuses. It's technology up there that would not allow me to go live successfully. So walk with me a little bit. I like those Toyotas, but I like that Lexus better. That is a car that'll last a lifetime. Some of these cars are going to be around way longer than we exist. Remember that today is a very special day. It's a very important day. This is a very important day of your life. Get up, get out, exercise, make yourself feel good. We are pro-America. We talk tough topics. And obviously we're here at our Great American Citizenship. We are here at the International Civil Rights Museum. Beautiful, beautiful people. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate the support. Hit subscribe. You can always go to $ at the Photography Club. Now remember, pick up that Cardi B album and make sure that you go to her. She's doing a bunch of pop-ups, a lot of pop-ups. Go support the South Bronx and Cardi B as she reaches diamond. We love supporting the entrepreneurs as we support Dr. Martin Luther King, Ron Wilkins, James L. Farmer, Whitey Young, and obviously John Lewis, which was a U.S. Congress. Now, let's see. That very great important citizenship is so very important. Obviously, we'll pass through some guys that's not citizens. We're not going to say anything today. And let's see. You know, it's an individual that goes around New York City and just writes tickets for people who are revving engines. And he made about $1 million. Just an entrepreneur that you're listening to. And we like to talk about entrepreneurship. And we like to talk entrepreneurship. Again, another beautiful BMW, my friends. That's a very nice car that could possibly change your life. That's one wonderful thing about being live. People won't bug you as much or ask you as much, but obviously we support the youth out here. You have to support them. Obviously they're out here having a good time on this Wednesday. So that's pretty much it, guys. Cardi B leaked audio, showed and proved Cardi B is from the South Bronx and she ain't got no problem with talking about Nicki Minaj or Latto out loud. That's exactly what Cardi B did, and she did a wonderful job at it. It sounded like Tupac Shakur and Biggie, East Coast and West Coast feud all back again, but it's the South Bronx against Queensbridge. The South Bronx against Queensbridge and Atlanta, which Latto probably will respond, but I don't think it's any real a power behind Latto. In other words, I don't think Latto is going to do anything to help her career with this feud. In other words, if Latto fought Nicki Minaj, that would be worth what, 50 million, 100 million? I'm sorry, Cardi B, that'd be worth a good $100 million fight. You can imagine that, a fight being worth 150 million dollars, possibly more, to see Cardi. Imagine how they could display. Just imagine how they could display the music. Imagine how the fight would be bigger than probably any fight that ever happened, even Mayweather, if Cardi and Nicki or Latto stepped in the ring just for 5 minutes. You can imagine the onslaught that Nicki Minaj is coming up with right now, saying, oh, Cardi thinks they sleeping on Nicki. Nicki's gonna have to prove it. Nicki's not a young rapper anymore. She's gonna have to prove that she can still get in that studio and she can still drop bars. That's exactly what she's gonna have to prove. She's gonna have to prove that she's still in prime condition, which Nicki Minaj hasn't been in prime condition in years, my friends. That is just a reality of the music industry, or any industry. I don't care what any industry you're in. Any industry that you're in, everybody gets old, unfortunately. And Nicki is passing that age of prime by far, setting her as being in her early 40s. Cardi B still 32 years old. Latto's still 23. Latto is like a kid compared to Nicki Minaj. But imagine one of the biggest fights in American and world history happening in 100,000 Coliseum right here in our hometown, and we can organize it. And some of the biggest fighters could be the lower showcases, and the showcase marquee could be Cardi B standing there at 32 years old, 5'6" or 5'7", weighing in and being one of the biggest rappers in world history against her underdog, Nicki Minaj, coming in with a less record sold, less influence, older, not as well shaven as Cardi. Their steps in the ring. Two of the biggest and beautiful women in the world. But tonight, they're not here for beauty. Tonight, they are here for one thing. And that one thing is to scrap it out, to do whatever you have to do to prove that you are better than your opponent. And Cardi said clearly, she ain't Nicki and she ain't Latto. She said that so clearly. She said she ain't Nicki and she ain't Latto. Yeah. She said, Ice Spice, I'm not Nicki and I'm not Latto. Somebody just commented, Cardi B keeps it real, and I think she keeps it real, so real that she relates to normal people like me and you. She relates to people that are regular, just like normal guys, men and women like me and you. She relates to the kids. The kids are behind Cardi, not Nicki. South Bronx is behind Cardi, not Nicki. No neighborhood is behind Ice Spice. She's a look. Nobody's going to do anything for Ice Spice. But Nicki doesn't run Queens like Cardi runs the South Bronx. If Cardi B pulls up in the South Bronx right now, my friend, the whole South Bronx is going to come out and she's going to be untouchable. If Nicki pulls up to Queens, a few people will come out. She might go to her normal nail shop, but she will not, my friends, overtop and overtopple the heavyweight champ of the world, being Cardi B, the best rapper in world history. That's our show today, guys. I greatly appreciate you tuning in to Photography Club.